Okay, this is for Donna. This is a Hubert Herr 8-day clock, and there's a tag on the back here. It says the Clock Shop Sycamore, and it says your clock is a precision instrument, requires cleaning every 4 years, all work guaranteed. It said repaired 9 of 82. So that was the last time this was worked on, I guess. 1982. Alright, so we're going to take this apart. Looks like it's very, very oily. Otherwise just dirty. Might just need cleaned. We'll see when we get it apart. Okay, first thing I'm going to do, we're going to take the chains out. They've got some interesting hooks on them, not usual round. They have a little diamond shaped end on them. So we will just twist this open like so. Take that out, then we'll be able to just pull the chain right out and put the chain in there. Come on. Alright, there it is. Okay, got the loop out. Chain. Alright, next step then is to take out the we'll take out the bellows blade. Okay, we'll pull that open. Okay. And then there's a nail right here. So we just have to pry the bellow away from it. And unhook on the inside. There's one of the bellows. And as you can see, this is going to need to be replaced because this is all torn open. Okay. And we'll get on the other side. Take this screw out. And again, just take a blade, get in between the wall and the bellow, loosen it. Take this bellow, which has the arm under it that goes under the cuckoo bird. Now let's check this bellows. This doesn't look bad. You know why? Because that's a replacement. And the way I can tell, this other one that has the tear in it, got the same paper here as on the whistle. And then this one, this is blue, this is red. This is a relatively modern replacement. And I don't think it... Anyway. Those two things. Now we will loosen up the bird. And that bird has got a screw right here. Loosen the bird, slide him off of the perch. Come on, birdie. And then all we got to do is there's 4 screws now down in here that hold the movement in. Before I take the movement out, we got to take the hands off. And it looks like we're missing, we're missing a nut right here. Should be a nut that's on here that holds that, keeps that from coming loose. So we'll have to replace that nut. And I take this one off. And that holds on the minute hand. More hand then comes off. Boy, that felt awfully loose. Let me see what happens with that. Oh, that'll be alright. Okay. I'm going to disconnect the bird because I want this case free of everything. So I can clean it, bend that up, take that out of the hook on the door. And there's the bird. You tell this a little bit older because it's got a metal bracket here. A lot of the more modern ones have a plastic bracket here, and they are often cracked. Okay, so there we are. Now we can take the movement out of the case. Just 4 screws. Where's the others of that one? Smaller pliers. Let's bend this little hook. Open it up so I can unhook that. And take this out. Okay, and now lift the movement out. Well, not quite. There's still a screw that's too tight. Okay. Okay, and we lift the movement out. I'll set that down here. And then I'll get the screws out of there. That's 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and we'll set that aside for a second. When we look in here, it's just dirty. There's dirt in here. Piece of dust and spider web. Lots of dust and dirt. We'll clean that out, and then what I'll do is I'll paint the inside of this with a 50-50 mix of boiled linseed oil and mineral spirits. That'll keep that wood from dusting and help keep the clock clean longer. I'll set the case aside for a little bit, and we'll take a look at this move. As you can see, brush out here. There's wood dust here. That's because the wood is dried up and flakes, and all that stuff's going to get into the pivots and what have you and cause some problems. Okay, these seem to be pretty free. The levers and what have you. Just let me pull a magnifier over here and turn it on. And you'll see a little better. And let's take a look. Let's look here. Just see if a little bit of wear on that main wheel. Take a look at some of these others. They don't seem to be flopping around. Strike side. At least not right now. Don't see anything that's really bad. Backside. Second wheel is usually the one that's will be worn most. That really doesn't look worn. This one does, though. Third wheel. Up here, this is, watch this flop around. Yeah, that's going to have to be rebushed there. And the escape wheel looks good. On the strike side, oh yeah, we got one here that's right here by my thumbnail. That's flopping around pretty good. And let's see what the second wheel looks like on that. Yeah, second and third wheels are going to have to be done on that, I think. Let's see where else we are. It looks like these two and this one. Looks like we got 3 bushings to do there after we clean it. Well, maybe the second wheel will be done too. It looks maybe just a little bit loose, and 8-day clocks tend to be a little fussier about looseness, so maybe 4 bushings there. And now it's time to just dismantle this thing, and then we'll put it in a cleaner. Let's see, clicks work. Click is working on that one. Click is working on that one. Nothing seems to be afoul there. And this does say Hubert Herr, and unadjusted. Oh, it says Triberg there too, Triberg, Germany. And no jewels. Otherwise, there's no other markings on it. I don't see any. There's no patents. There's nothing on it. I don't see much that we're going to have to do here. Interesting. So we will dismantle this. Here's a C. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's take that C-clip out of here. Okay. All right, so we're going to end up taking that off, but we got to get the C-clip off of there first. I'll just see if we can get this rack off. Now we got to get this washer off, and there's a C-clip on top of it. Let's see if I can get the screwdriver in there. Okay, I got it. There we go. Now that washer will come off. Yeah, maybe it'll come off. Then the snail comes off, and the intermediate wheel comes off, and now we're on our way. One right here. Okay, so we got C-clips here and down here. So take that one off. We got to go this way. Right there. What's going on here? Boy, that's tight. Almost like it's glued on. It's not going to come off. I'll be back. Trying to keep the camera here so that I can see this as best I can. Alright, now that loosens that, so this lever will come off. Okay, you can see the C-clip in there. Actually, E-clip, I guess. Come on, little guy. There you go. Wow. Why are they so tight? Oh, that one flipped. That's what I'm always afraid of. They're going to fly across the room. That one didn't go very far. Got him. Okay, now let's see if we can get this one out. Okay, I found the problem why that wasn't coming out. This is actually mushroomed a little bit on the end. Somebody must have said there's a little bit here. Slightly mushroomed, and it was jammed in the hole. Somebody abused the heck out of that thing. Probably the same reason with the other one. I don't know why on earth. Yeah, that's mushroomed on the end. No wonder it wouldn't come out. Use this lever. Just enough of a slight mushrooming. So somebody, when they reassembled this clock, pounded the daylights out of the end and mushroomed it enough that it wouldn't slip back. I don't know what they were thinking, but that's just about one of the dumbest things I've seen. Okay, we can now take this this thing off. Perch. There is a spring right here. Have to remember where that's at. It just is just into the edge of the plate. It doesn't take a lot of pressure to do that. Okay, so we'll take these screws out. Maybe we'll take these screws out. Feels like somebody tightened these up with like a gorilla. That is really tight. I'm gonna have to grab a hold of it with the pliers and turn. Man, I don't know who tightened those up, but that's absolutely ridiculous. Okay, birdie perch is off. Okay. And now let's see here. We got, this can actually come off, I think. Yeah, this is threaded, so we can take this off and get it out of the way. Sure, so I don't gouge it or scratch it. Grab hold of it and turn it. And now we can take this out. Okay. And now let's see how we gotta undo the spring. I gotta look at the spring and see what's there. Okay, the spring is around this little hook. Around this hook. So we're gonna have to slip that out of there some way. Man, why'd they bend that hook over? That's really not all that necessary. And I'm going to bend that hook up. It's not going to come off. Let's see, maybe I can get it off this way. I can get this out first, maybe. Get that. Okay, spring loose. Okay, spring's loose. Now I get that around. Okay, these don't have springs. You just turn them and see, there's the slots here. And so these little pins go through that slot. Once you get them through the slot, you turn them back in position. They're locked in, so you turn them until those pins will come right through that hole. And notice the longest one is on the bottom. That's the way it's got to go back together. Okay, we got everything out of here. Now we're going to undo some nuts. Pull the thing off of there. Pull the plate off, and then we can take the wheels. With the regular movements, we've talked about here's the lever that kicks the birdie out, and we've talked about with the regular what keeps the bird out, and there was a little hook, that mechanism that did that. This one works a little differently. There's a little rod here, and it's slightly weighted. It's held in with a brass pressed on bushing. There's another metal part here, but you can see what it does. It flops up and down in a slot. And if you look inside here, so I get a pointer, this part of the lever has a little indentation right here that when this bird is pushed out, that slides. Let's see if I can show it here. That slides under that rod, which weighted drops down, and now that's holding that bird lever from coming back out. Okay. And now we're going to take. Now maybe we should just mark. Well, I can't mark them because I'm going to put this all in the washer before I do anything else. I'm going to take these nuts off of here. So I need to go back here and I got another driver. Okay, we'll take that one off. I'm going to take this one off. Take this one off. And take this one off. Okay. There we go. All right. Now let's take the so-called verge out, the anchor. Take a look at it. Looked okay. This little drop lever is holding things up, so we got to pull. We got to pull this this brass off. It looks like originally that had an E-clip in it, holding that in because there's a groove in that. Oh, we'll just see if we can get that off. Let's do it this way. Let's hang on to that. And then take this and see if we can pull that out. Yeah, it's coming. Okay. It's just a press fit. There we go. Okay, now we can take the plate off. This will come out. And that plate will come off. Let's do this. Let's put the strike side in there and we'll put the run side in here. Okay, so here we are. So this is strike side. That's going to go in here. This is strike side. There's our lift wheel. I think you can see this is a bit of a problem because this is rust. It's just plain rust. They just need cleaned real good. Okay. Ooh. Somebody did something with this one. It's got some bad bruising, like from a wheel, maybe a wire wheel. Bad scratches on sandpaper or something. I don't know. Don't like to see that, so we'll put that in there. Got this little guy, that's what keeps the bird out. And we got these two wheels. Here's that little bump I was talking about. Now this is a run side. Now how can you tell one day from a 8 day? One day has 3 wheels. And this has 1, 2, 3, 4 wheels. So that's an 8-day clock. Okay. You can also tell by the size of the weights. Weights are much bigger. Okay. These all seem to be in pretty good shape. Okay, that's an odd arrangement. A little cock that's holding on just a little pinion. I don't think I've ever quite seen that one. Huh. Normally there'd be an arrangement for that to be separate. Okay, we can take that off too, but I think for right now I'm going to leave it. And we just need to clean these in the ultrasonic, and then we'll take a look at things. Just so you can see, this is one of the reasons we take things completely apart. That's pretty nasty dirty. That's why you want to take things apart. Then get all of that gunk out of there. Yeah, all the oil and out of every pivot hole, around every pivot hole. Just get it really, really clean. I have an interesting feature here too. Here's your slip clutch so that that wheel can slip when you're setting the time, but it's tight enough that it turns things. On most clocks, all the regulars, most of the clocks I've worked on, the only way to get this off is to use a puller. But this one's a little different. This slips on here, and then this whole thing comes out. So we can actually do something with this center wheel if it's badly worn. I don't know. It's worn a little bit, but doesn't look bad. So we can polish all of that stuff now. That's great. That's great. Okay, so we can now take all of this, clean off the excess nonsense, and we're going to put all these parts into the ultrasonic cleaner, and then we will hand clean everything and put things back together with the run side and the strike side, and see for sure if there are any other pivots that we need to rebush. So we'll get back to you after these are cleaned. Okay, there are the cleaned parts. Donna, this is what your clock looks like. Clock movement looks like, all taken apart. Everything now cleaned and polished. Pivots have been polished. And all I got to do is do 4 bushings, and then we can put this back together. And now that this has been cleaned, I got the run side in. And let's take a look at the second wheel. Second wheel, is that kind of iffy. This third wheel, and the escape wheel. Yeah, I don't like that escape wheel. Yeah, we're going to have to do that escape wheel. And on the back side, let's see what we got here. Main. Second, oh, definitely third wheel here. Look at this. Yeah. Now that's one that needs rebushed. You can actually see the wear in it. Look at that. Definitely needs a bushing in that one. And the escape wheel, no, it's tight. Definitely got to have that one done. Now let's see, this would be the way. Run that way, so that's the worn side on the left. The unworn side is right there. You can see it's centered. You can see how far that's over worn. So I'm going to mark that where the unworn side is. This is what we're going to replace here. That one. And let's check out the second wheel. Tiny bit on the loose side, but that's not bad. That one is worn, but how's the escape wheel? Can't allow the escape wheel to be a mess. No, it looks okay, so that's one. And on the front, main wheel. Here's second wheel. That's that second wheel. Yeah, it's okay. Tad loose, but not bad. Let's see, third wheel. No, it's okay. And escape wheel. There's the escape wheel. Let's start by measuring the pivot. Put the calipers on it. And we look. And we see that's about 0.86 millimeters. Okay. 0.86, and I happen to have bushings that are 0.9 millimeters. So that should be a pretty good fit. Bushings. And it goes right on the end. And that will do. This is the one we're going to put in then. Alright, I used a file to file out the unworn part, amount equal to the worn part, and now I will drill this out. The outside diameter of the bushing is 2.5 millimeters. This reamer is 2.47, 3/100ths of a millimeter smaller. We're going to drill this out. This reamer. And now that bushing will fit in there. Before we do that, I'll take a little tool, deburr that on both sides, and then we're going to pound this bushing in. We will end up closing the hole a little bit, so we'll have to broach it out just a tiny bit. I get the bushing started. Okay, so now we have that in there on the inside. It's flush. We'll smooth any scratches off of there. And we will broach this out to fit and be ready to go. And take a broach just a tiny bit and see if that works. Very close, it's tight. And when you pound that in, it compresses it. Okay, let's see where we are now. Okay, goes in fine. Hit it just a tiny bit from the front. Okay, and let's see how we're doing here. There we go. Okay, that looks good. And we're done with that bush. Now, result of the bushing, you can now see with the main gear, that bushing doesn't jump around anymore. Okay, and it runs very smoothly, and that'll run for a very, very long time. Strike side. And that second wheel I should do. And definitely the third wheel. You can see that one jumping around. There's the unworn side. There's the worn side. The rest of them don't look bad. That one's really bad there. Second and third wheel's got to be done. The other side, I think they look okay. Well, I don't know, maybe we should do that second wheel. give it some longevity. It'll probably never be done again. Those look good. Yeah, I think I'll do the second wheel on this one too. Let's see here. So, to the right is the worn side. That's the unworn side. So we'll make a mark on the unworn side so I know where to file just a tiny bit. There. Okay. On the back side, then we'll look at second wheel. There's the worn side, unworn side, worn side, and this one. Definitely see where it's off center there. There's the unworn side. We'll make a mark there. Okay, so those two we're going to make bushings. So we've got 3 more bushings to do. And here's the second wheel where that was moving quite a bit. And it runs very well, so we have a bushing there. And we have a bushing here. And that has it running very nicely. And the last bushing we need to do is this one here. And here's what it's going to look like before. Whoops. See the gap in it. Anyway, if we put it in the hole and then do this test in this direction, you can see how much movement there is. There shouldn't be any more than about 4 or 5 degrees. This way it's not worn badly. This way it certainly is. So we'll rebush that one and then we'll be done with the bushing. And now here's the bushing in place. Doesn't matter which way I go. We don't have extreme movement. Okay. Take a toothpick and we clean every hole. And make sure there's no junk in them. See what's coming off of there. And take it, scratch off all the garbage with a knife. And come back, finish. See, where's this one? Okay. And see how that polishes them up. Those are screw holes. Okay, good clean. Now we put things back together. Okay. So what we've got together so far. There's a little idler in here, transfer gear. Now it's a good time to oil that pivot hole in here. Okay, there we go. Okay, gear's in position. Now we'll put the top plate on, or actually back plate. Okay, Gears put in position. Plates on. All ready to go back to the front and put all that stuff on. Before we put anything on the front, we're going to oil all of these bushings so that we have easier time getting to them. Otherwise, levers will be in the way and we'll maybe miss one. I'll put a little tiny drop of oil. Ah, dang it. Didn't mean to get that on there. Okay, let's try again. It's getting a little big. Get one. Probably could use a little additional. Okay. Alrighty. We've talked about how the Regula pushes the Cuckoo door open and keeps it open. And this one works a little bit differently. There's a on the third wheel, there's this little tab that when we go to set the Cuckoo in motion, which is done by dropping the rack, that allows this to drop onto the teeth, and you'll note that this part of that lever is above this little weighted rod that can move up and down. Then the thing starts to cuckoo, and that little tab rotates around and pushes on this, lifts it, which pushes this little hook right here underneath that rod. Now if I can just make it go, I got my finger stuck on it. There we go. And that catches that little hook right here. And now that keeps the door open. The door is now open. So this continues to cuckoo until this can fall under the rack. And when that falls under the rack, then this can drop. We'll see. And when this drops, this will hit the top of this pin and release that hook, and the bird will go back in. So let's run this and just see how it works now. And watch right here. You'll see it push on that and release the bird, and the bird is released back in. So let's run it again. Okay, we'll trip this. All right, bird comes out. It's held out by that little rod. When that drops down, this pushes down on that, releases that hook back here, and that allows the door to close again. So that's because that hook is attached to the same arbor that controls the door. that's how that works. Okay, we've got a lot of this back together, and it's been oiled, and now we need to put these elements back in. We got to put the Cuckoo wires back in, put the long one on the bottom, like so. Turn it around that way. Then the short one goes on top, like so. Put it in, line hole up, drop it around, okay. And watch, these aren't going to interfere. Okay. Then we put in the hammer. Put it around. Then we just got to wrap this wire around the post to attach the spring. And then we'll put the post back on for the pendulum and leader and pendulum. Okay, that's back on. And then what we're going to do is go ahead and put the chains in. And we will put the chains in, put it on a test stand, and we'll make sure we run it. Yeah, you got to repair these bellows. So instead of repairing the tissue on this one, I think we'll replace it with a new bellows, and then we'll put new paper on both of them. Okay, so here's the replacement bellows. It has a different kind of a paper on it. The paper that's on here is kind of a black with blue veins. So I went upstairs, found a picture online of black with blue veins, and I'll use that to make new tops papers for both of these, and that'll sort of match the original. You just gotta find a picture online and print it out on paper, and then cut it out and glue it to the tops. Alright, here's an original that we've gone with this, and we tore that one off and we replaced it with these. Well, this one had been replaced before, so we're going to replace this and this, only we're going to make them like this, and cover this with this material. Okay, there they are, close to original. And then they can be put in after we put the movement back in. Got the chains cleaned, and they're looking good. We're about ready to put the chains back in the movement, and then put the movement back in the case. Okay, we put a coating of, after we cleaned it out, put a coating of 50% mineral spirits and linseed oil on the inside, and that'll keep it wood from drying out, producing little wood fibers that get into the movement. I cleaned up the nicks and dings on the front with a little bit of stain, and that looks a lot better. So that case, I'll just let that dry for a while, and then we'll put the movement in and test it out. Alright. Put the chains back in. We have to take the other ends off. Let's see if this will work. These links are pretty stiff. Oh, just gotta do them. Alright. Spirits. Okay, we're going to drop this back in here after we get the chains pulled through the holes. So I'll take each of these chains and I'll drop it down in front of the hole that this one goes in. Hubert Herr. Why is that bird not going on that perch? I think there's, the perch is a little boogered up. Okay, if I get the bird out now, that'll make it easier. It was kind of hung up inside. Doggone it, get in there, that away. I'm really struggling with this little guy. Okay, got it right there. All I gotta do is twist that wire. These humid summer days, you should work on these in the winter. Humid summer days really can cause a lot of grief. Okay. Now that should have closed. How come? I got Birdie all set up. Now we need to get these put in. This is the left-handed one. And that's going to be the longer one of the two. See, there's two lift wires. One is longer than the other. The longer one goes on the bottom. Lift. And then through this loop on the side of the bellow. That gets pushed in here. There is a nail. Boy, that slot is small. Anyway, screw goes in. Kind of feel where it starts. And God, my hands are shaking tonight. Okay, now we'll have to do some playing around with the lift. Boy, there's not much of a nail sticking through there. That's all it takes, just something to keep it from rotating. With the long screw. Put it in the hole. Okay, bellows are in. Let's make sure that... Good. Okay, let's trip this thing. Okay, now it should cuckoo. Oh, that's the run side. Okay, it's got to be lifted a little more, so we got to bend that wire up. Okay, let's see how it sounds. Okay, maybe just bend that one up, give it a little bit longer. Cool. That's good. Okay. All we got to do is put the pendulum wire in, and we'll be ready to see about test running this, see how things go. Okay, I took it all back apart again. Didn't want to keep running. couple of questionable bushings in it, so I redid probably half a dozen more bushings. After messing with this thing for a while, I finally got it running. We're going to let it run for a day or so, and then we'll put it all back together and see if we can't get it to work right.